I stand here in my. I'd rather. So did you. You were putting blush on in the bathroom. I saw you.
Right, sure.
That's my car off and that's how I got here. That's it.
That's all I know.
I think we get started.
We started?
Yeah.
I know, so everyone, welcome to the Business Insight Panel, KW Living here. We're starting off family reunion. We got some people on Zoom and here at the office. I wanted to first start out, I don't know if like Cindy or Karen, I know you sent out the email about Jeanette from UMCA, but should we do a little introduction or?
Yes.
No.
I know it's a big deal for KW living here, so I don't know. Jeanette, you want to come up and kind of maybe just introduce yourself and
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeanette Wright. I am excited to start on Monday. I have over 30 years experience in the finance world, government world, working in offices. I am most recently a real estate agent. And so I've been in the real estate agent role for almost 5 years now. I have done real estate investment, property management, just about everything. So for me, the dots have lined up. I'm excited to be here. I am a resource. I'm resourceful, and I am looking forward to working with you all. So thank you for having me.
Yay. Welcome.
A lot of references in my day, and Karen,
I was
we
just
were
gonna
talking,
read
so
it.
like,
I was just gonna read it.
the references that we got for Jeanette were like the most ridiculously awesome references. Like, I don't know if you paid people to say it. I don't know what it was like. It was like all these things. I was like, perfect. Holy cow. It was like, yeah, you have some good people in your life. And well done for you. Yeah, they were very, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're excited for Debbie.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Katie.
I do not.
all right, that's great. Yeah, let's get going. So we have some great panelists here from our market center here. We have Diana. Can you hear us? And can you I know you're on Zoom right now. Diana Magno.
Hi, I can hear you. Sorry I couldn't be there in person today, down in Medina County. It's kind of a hike and the snow was a little more than it was up there, I guess.
Little choppy. I don't know if it's the internet. That's why it's a nice little test right here.
Mhm.
I'm sure it'll go. No big deal.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Yeah. Alrighty, and then Rondell.
Well, if you want me to introduce
Yeah,
myself.
just a quick little intro about yourself.
Okay, I've been licensed, it'll be 3 years coming up in April, so, yeah, been at it a long time. Yeah. I'm on the 2022 ALC here in the office, so very excited about that. I also own an insurance agency as well, and very excited to be here on this panel today.
Awesome. Keisha.
No
How you doing?
introductions were required.
Oh, just a little something quick.
Just a little
Yeah.
something. Keisha Wagner. I feel like I've been here since forever. Pretty much since the Market Center started. I joined late 2009 when it was Keller Williams Greater Cleveland Southeast. I have served on the ALC in the past, but I took a break this year. I've been licensed for over 12 years, and I'm excited to be here.
Michaeline.
I'm Michaeline Paul. I have been here since the end of 2011. The husband and I are a team. Papa. And I'm excited. I'm real happy to be up here today. I wish I was going to family reunion actually, so I'm glad to share what I'm anxious to see the people that are going, what they have to say when they get back, because it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I smell it.
Yeah, for sure.
So looking forward to hearing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, we have some veterans, some Rondell's newer, but also, right, other things. We have someone new to the market center, a lot of mega producers here, so let's get into it. I know, so you, Michael, you've been to some family reunions. I know Keisha, you have as well. Diana, have you? Rondell, you have not.
I have not, no.
So
I have never been.
What is family reunion and what are some of the takeaways that you've gotten in the past? Is it motivational? Is it a lot of business insight? You know, what's the takeaways there?
And one sentence, family reunion is everything. All of that is what you just said.
Yeah.
Business, fun, lots of insight, lots of motivation, lots of contacts. You're gonna meet so many people.
Yeah.
It's all of that and then some. It can be overloading because there's so many things you can do and so many classes and so many opportunities to network. But I definitely suggest at least going twice, not just once, twice. Because the first time you got to get exposed and knocked over. The second time you go, you'll know exactly what you want to do and how you want to make the best use of your time.
Agree. And you do have to go more than once, because the first time you go, you are just going to kind of like meet other people. It's a great place to get a referral business built. Just, you know, I was shocked at how many people like dressed silly to pass out something to give you to bring back home. I could barely handle that thing around my neck because they give you all kinds of little things to hang so everybody knows if you're on the ALC or, you know, that kind of bothered me a little bit. But then after I had it on, I realized that it helped people connect with me. People felt more comfortable to call me by my name after they, you know, stare at my chest for 4.5 hours. But the fun thing about it was all the people you meet. It just was so awesome. And there are people that you didn't ever work with. And then before you know it, like now, being in the business as long as we have been, now you're getting like phone calls. Or when someone says, do you know anybody?
Yeah.
You can always look back to your business cards and hope they're still in the business. But the good thing about it is if they've been with you as long as you've been with them. So you've built that relationship even though you don't talk to them every day. I agree with you, Keisha. Got to do it more than once.
I feel like that referral part too is something that not many enough agents kind of focus on that, and that's definitely an opportunity.
There's a huge focus on building a referral network, don't you think, when you're there?
I would agree.
Yeah, it was great. And I was glad that I was able to learn from that because I'm not really sure if I knew that that's why I was going.
Right.
And that's how it benefited me.
It's amazing. Diana, have you gone before or?
I have not. I've only been licensed since 2019. You know, and obviously we couldn't go last year. My husband hasn't been yet either. Our original plan was to go this year, but we just went to a conference last month and then he's out of town, obviously this week, tying some loose ends at a short-term rental. So, you know, family reunion, there's a lot of FOMO there, definitely.
Definitely still a little choppy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if can you do maybe without the video and try? If not, then we'll figure it out.
Turn off the video.
Yeah, it might, maybe, yeah, try doing without video and then,
I'll have her log it back.
or just log back on, or yeah,
That's
log
happens
off and log back on.
Mm.
We'll give it a
Okay,
go.
just give me a second then.
Yeah, we'll just try popping out and popping back in. Should work. All right, let's do, so people, if they're watching virtually this weekend or they're there, you know, what are some of your main topics of interest or something that you're curious about learning from either Gary or kind of the state of the industry? Like what's kind of some of the main topics that you'd be curious of coming out of this weekend?
I'm interested to see what he has to say about like 2022 and beyond. Like these last 2 years have just been absolutely nuts.
Different.
So I'm very interested to see like, what's gonna be the forecast for the next year and, going into, the next 5 years, 10 years, like he's historically hit the mark on kind of making these predictions on where the market is heading, so.
Like the state of the industry, state of the market,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I'm interested, very, very excited about that.
Keisha, what do you
I
think?
would have to say the same. And also how he'll intertwine with the rising of the interest rates, how that might affect. I don't know that it's gonna have much
Right.
effect. But.
I know, right? It's like, what happens when like, okay, rates go up, but there's still a month worth of inventory.
Right.
What's gonna happen? Is it gonna
Much
affect
affected, yeah.
buy? Right, yeah. Interesting.
Agreed. I love listening to him. There's so many nuggets to pull out of everything he says.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with
He's
you.
usually so much farther ahead, like, you'll listen to him and then, he'll say something and then 2 years later, you'll say, he said
He
that.
said
2
that.
years ago." So, yeah.
Very interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
That's great. Then I see you pop back on. Let's give it a whirl one more time, see if, so the question is, for you, watching virtually this weekend, streaming or being at family reunion, what would be kind of the most interesting topic or the main topic that you're most curious about out of this weekend?
Can you guys hear me better?
So
That sounded good.
Still choppy?
It's tough.
it's choppy and
Okay, let me try it from my phone. Maybe it's my Wi-Fi.
Try to call in,
oh yeah.
try to call in, yeah.
I have a question about the vision speech, since everybody's
Mhm.
talking about that. For the people that aren't going and don't have a virtual ticket, is there a way for them to see the vision speech?
Yeah, so Katie, correct, that is being streamed on, is it Sunday, correct?
Yes,
That's the state of
Sunday
the-
morning at 8:30, and it's going to be streamed. We're going to attempt to stream it over Zoom and hope that it works. And hope that we can get some good streaming going with that. And also there will be a recording of it. So depending on how that goes, we might even have an event in the office a little later, to try and let everybody have a chance to
Little watch
see it as
party.
well. Yeah, cool.
Mhm.
Great, yeah, yeah. All right, let's do, how about, okay, a little bit more kind of nitty gritty into business. And these are all questions that were collectively kind of submitted through some of the leadership team, I think maybe some of the ALC, but overall, these are kind of wide ranging topics. Overall, like state of market, your business insights, obviously, because you guys are all successful agents. So what systems did you implement first when you decided to leverage your business? Maybe Marlene, if you want to give it a whirl.
I hired an
Administrator, so that was like first move. It was like, I'm too busy right now, like I need someone to maybe help transact deals.
to do everything
Okay,
so that I could just sell real estate.
so pretty much go on appointments and
You have
negotiate
to.
deals.
Yeah, I just can't even imagine.
Mhm.
It's like you have a question, just ask Mindy.
How long were you? That's awesome.
Really, seriously. You gotta write an offer, I'll do that.
Was that pretty quick into your career that you decided to do that, or was it?
I had 3 different people. I hired them, part-time. And I just wasn't cutting it. I was doing I used to write everything out.
Mhm.
I didn't even use, I don't mean to keep looking at you. I didn't even use Outlook. And then I finally I might as well give it a Outlook. And I did, and I was thankful that I did, because that gave me a little more time. But I found that part-time was just not gonna do it. I had to have somebody full-time. So it's just so much more fun being out in the world than it is doing her job. It's that simple. It's not easy.
What about you? System did you
The
implement
first
first?
thing because even though I'm not a social media guru, I did bring someone in to first help with my social media as far as being seen, different platforms, different types of advertising. So that was like the absolute first thing to do, because I did not want to, it's too much for me to want to post
Mhm.
all day long. I don't see how people do it. How do you do this? What do we have time? I'm trying to write contracts and get listings and it doesn't fit into my normal routine. So that was like the absolute first thing I did, was to get someone to manage all of the social media. So that freed up
Yeah.
some time.
Very good. Well, how about you?
Like for me, I just, like I knew how I wanted to build my business.
Mhm.
So like I just really dove in on my sphere. So reaching out to all my family and friends, telling them what I was doing and establishing those relationships. It took a while for it to kind of kick, but you know, once it got going, the foundation was already there. So if you knew, you know, are looking to expand your business, hone in on like how you want to do it, set the foundation, and then, you know, keep working it. Over time, you'll see results.
Very good. I like it. Diana, how about you? Did you call back in or?
Can you guys hear me now? Or is it still choppy? Because I switched over to my cell phone.
It's better. It sounds better.
Okay, yeah,
Did you-
so the first thing,
Yeah, what was the first thing you implemented, systems-wise to leverage your business?
so the first thing, so obviously, so my husband got licensed first and he got pretty busy after his second year. And instead of hiring an admin, I got licensed. And then after my first year, we just kind of skyrocketed, and we were over at Elevate and they offered an in-office transaction coordinator, which we did per transaction, and we really implemented her. So then we were able to then bring on a showing assistant and some buyer's agents, but then we switched over to living, and now we're looking for a transaction coordinator again. So right now I'm playing admin and transaction coordinator. So, I mean, we have, between the two of us, we did over 100 transactions, and it's just way too much for one person to handle and trying to manage their own business right now, but we're getting there.
Very good. It is still a little bit choppy, but we did get the gist of that for sure. It was initially over at Elevate, you had admin, transaction coordination, and then same thing here. It's just, once you have that many deals you guys are doing, I think you said 100, you guys are processing 100 deals, like that probably is some transaction coordination or something like that, where it's almost a must there. Cool, appreciate that. Let's go to the next question. How about, what is your biggest business goal for 2022?
We're trying and sell power. They ended up selling the lights. The land. And the question becomes is not.
Maybe she's trying to say.
I think.
It was Karen.
My biggest goal is obviously to do much better than I did last year. And I'm pretty transparent, and everybody that knows how to go into the MLS knows what everybody sells anyway. So you could see that in 2020, I had a much better year than I did in 21. And I had to do a lot of thinking about that at the end of last year, because I needed to know where I was going to be going forward this year. I know where my mistakes were. I know what I have to do to double down to reach my goal. Gotta get on that husband. Yeah, it's like, really, huh?
You just start being generating.
But he does so much, you know, we do different things, so he always obviously pulls through. But
What was like an aha that you had maybe that you noticed that like, oh, I needed to switch it from the 20 to 21?
I need to take care of dilemmas before they become problems. I don't have time to waste on problems. There's no time for that. So I have to be on top of my game and make sure that I am thinking about what could happen, even though the basics of life is 80% of the time, it doesn't really happen. It happens. So I need to make sure that I zip that up before. Yeah, I don't have time to waste on things that should have never happened to begin with.
Yep. Keisha, biggest goal for 22?
So 2022. So at each year I've been licensed, I've done better than the last. So I haven't went backwards. So, but personally, and this intertwines with business, I need to get back more into investing personally. I want to maintain the level of I guess, pace that of 2022, because as Rondell spoke of, it was crazy,
Mhm.
but it was our best year yet. However, I don't want to do this forever, so I have to make plans in order not to be doing this forever. And that includes investing in, diversifying to where I have multiple streams of income. So that is my goal this year, is to really dig in how I can have more forms of income.
Nice. Very cool.
My number one goal is to hire somebody.
Hire
And that,
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Would they
so-
be like a personal assistant too, or like what would be their role? Like just
So-
transit coordination, or would you make calls, like what?
Like, yeah, so
All the
just
above?
everything administrative, like I'm not an administrative person at all, never have been. So now as my business continues to grow, that weakness is really starting to get exposed and, some things are like I'm pushing like right at the deadline for, so. And I also have like investments as well, so.
Yeah,
But,
like rental properties and stuff?
yeah, rental property, so, when I'm tired of doing administrative stuff that, like one, I'm not that good at it, and then also, it's not something that I really enjoy doing, then it's taking away time from the stuff that I want to, need to be doing, so, yeah, that's my number one goal. And
One thing I will say too, because I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of successful agents say that too, it's just, there's not enough hours in the day, right? So,
Mhm.
there are, sometimes it could feel like overwhelming, like, oh, I have to hire someone, but I guess, this office has a partner that we partner with to help with transaction coordination and stuff like that. It's something just to consider too, if you're ever like feeling like, oh man, like am I at the position to hire someone full time? There is things in place here that could kind of maybe take away that stress of immediately like, oh, I have to go out and put like an Indeed post up or a LinkedIn ad, where there are kind of leverage opportunities as well. So, yeah, something to consider.
Michaeline and Keisha, how did you find Mindy and Kathy? Your two
Oh, yeah,
admins?
yeah, great question.
Stole Mindy.
Yeah. Same.
From where?
So if you work with them in a different scenario, like a team or something, or.
You mean like another realtor?
Yeah, or that. Yeah. Or that, yeah.
That was
I love it.
Kathy was our former MCA
Okay.
some years ago,
Yeah.
so, I did not know that. Yep,
Delphi.
I'm sorry, MCA. I
Oh,
apologize. Ooh, looking at you, folks on internet. I'm so
Sorry, you can think
excited.
about
Thank
it.
you. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
So,
cool.
mhm.
Very cool. That was a good question here. Oh yeah, so speaking of just like the real estate industry, how much it's changed over the past few years. What's kind of the near future? Gary's gonna give us his perspective. When you're thinking about the market or real estate industry in general, like the direction it's going, what do you kind of think about? What are some, maybe something that hot takes or even something that's not maybe a popular opinion, just sometimes that you're thinking about the industry or.
I think that the prices are going to continue to go up, even with the interest rates starting to creep up. From everything that I've seen, the interest rates are just going back to where they were pre-pandemic.
Dropping below.
So yeah, so like it was, I don't think that it's going to like knock a ton of people off the market
Like it's not
necessarily.
gonna jump to 6% all of a sudden.
Yeah, right. So I think that, people's payments are gonna stay relatively the same, plus or minus, or, probably at $100, $200, depending on the price point. I think long-term, I think it's gonna be a lot more investors. So like, I think that's where the industry is heading, especially in a market like Cleveland, where like you just have heavy investor activity with a
Just
lot.
buying big, like multiple,
Single family houses
in
and,
like one fell swoop and stuff.
yeah, so I think kind of long term, that's where the industry is going.
What would be the, because that's an interesting point, like, what, why would they do that though? Is it to, do they want to hold them for rentals then? What, or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Because the rental market's so hot, like you put up, I think my friend just put they're listing, they have a duplex and they put it up and like then 40 people contact them like overnight.
yeah, it is crazy.
For rental, yeah, so that's interesting.
We're still relatively an inexpensive market to invest in, regardless of, us living here and seeing the prices go up. I'm like, wow, but in relation to the rest of the country, we're still very inexpensive.
The cost of
So-
living around here is,
Yeah.
we're like the best kept secret, like no natural disasters. Like, no, like somehow you can buy a house for under 300K. like,
Yeah.
what? It doesn't- for some reason, it just doesn't exist.
Mhm.
Maybe the sun doesn't come out enough for that,
I think the cat's out the bag now.
Right.
Right.
but-
Somebody
You're
solve
right
it,
about that.
figure it out.
It's investment wise and just cost of living wise, we're relatively low on the lower end over here. Luckily, what do you think? What do you think about the industry or the market for the remainder of the year? What do you kind of think about? What are the direction it might go in? Any end in sight of the inventory shortage, or is it kind of?
I am pretty easygoing about it because I don't really care what happens.
Yeah.
Because I love it, and if it's up or it's down, I'm in a market center where no matter whatever I have to deal with, I'm gonna have someone to go to help me. If it's gonna be more sellers, more buyers, high interest rates, we have so much access in this market center to be awesome, that no matter what problem you're gonna deal with, doesn't matter what the market is, we're all gonna be fine here.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. So I can't worry about it, because if I would, I'm not gonna have fun, and I just wanna have fun.
Yeah, I think that's a very great point. Even being on the leadership team for a couple of years, seeing how many people are willing to help in any way possible. Like there's a lot of different ways to do real estate, right? I mean, there's brokerages that have like super low fees, but like no help, you just kind of, you're there, all kinds of systems and things in place. But I will second that, like I just being around it, a lot of selfless people are willing to help in any way possible. If you want to build a real estate business, the resources are available.
Yeah.
Like that's I know that's.
So,
Here, they're
Yeah.
available.
Yes, yeah, exactly. For sure. I don't know, Diana, did you maybe call on a different, I saw another name, was that your? I don't know if it got squared away, but it was a little choppy still last time you had mentioned.
Can you hear me better now? Is
I
it
mean,
still
it did-
choppy?
It cut out a little bit. It might, you know what, it may just, it's.
Yeah,
it's so-
so Mike's on now also, so I told him to jump in and answer some of the questions, because this is like all hits to him, because we service a lot of investors. So, it's, the shortage isn't just in residential, it's in investment properties too.
All right, cool. All right, very good. Yep, all right, let's do next question then.
Hey, Paul, do you want to see if Michael wanted, I think she
Yeah,
said
Michael,
Michael
can
was
you,
gonna jump
yeah,
in.
how's,
Yeah, hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, is it us?
it might be,
It might
Is
be
it
us.
just where they're at?
yeah, I don't think it's any individual. I think I have a feeling any person that went off mute and said something would probably chop in and out, which.
Not hearing me?
Yeah, give it a whirl one more time, Michael.
All right. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Sorry I was late. I had an appointment here at 1. So I'm just getting caught up. But so yeah, I mean, state of the market, obviously it's really tough right now. I check, so as Diana alluded to, I specialize in working investor clients. So I check the MLS every single day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day in the multifamily space. And we're down right now, at least in the multifamily space in our entire MLS, about 35% active listing.
What was it again?
30, it's down about 35% in the multifamily space.
Oh, just
Yeah,
listing.
over this time last year. So it's extremely difficult. You've got a ton of loose funding, a ton of cash in the market. You know, people want to park their money somewhere because leaving it in a bank is not a good thing right now.
Right.
It's just, it's really, really tough. You know, I sold over 70 multifamily properties last year, and you know, I've got, you know, dozens of people who would line up to buy anything they can get their hands on that's decent in a good neighborhood and with cash flow. So, and it's just going to continue to get worse, especially in the investment space, because there's no new construction of multifamily property, right? So
Yeah.
you have an inventory shortage, you've got old properties, and you've got just huge pent up demand. So, and we're going to continue to see that with the regular buyers and sellers too in this market as it continues. It's woefully, you know, obviously new home construction starts is woefully down over the last decade, last 10 years. That's no secret. The average age of the first time home buyer in this country has crept up into the 30s. And that's also the median age of the millennials now. So you're seeing huge demand there as well. You know, it's super tough. You know, it's difficult. So we've all, as an industry, really got to be getting out in front of people and telling them, hey, look, you know, now's the time if you're ever thinking of selling, or, you know, getting a hold of these old landlords who want to sell off properties because they're sitting on gold.
Right. Yeah.
And I think the one last thing I'll throw in there too, you know, directional of the market is the emergence of agents turning into their own type of iBuying program as well. Diana and I have talked about it. We've actually made cash offers to sellers before. We've never actually bought a property from a seller, but we've tried because what we're seeing is people want certainty, and they're willing to take a little bit less because the values have come up so much for a easy transaction, right? Like if you come in and say, hey, I'll buy this property and it'll be 85% of the value with cash. We'll close in, you know, 20 days. That's really attractive to people too. So I would encourage everyone, if they're not thinking about that kind of stuff, to start thinking about it. Because you can always find the money. That's the great thing right now in this market. You can find somebody who will invest with you to take that property down. So
For sure. Appreciate that insight.
cool.
Next question, let's do, what has been your most productive method of lead generation in our fast moving market? Rondell?
Just working my sphere. You know, everybody knows somebody who want to buy or sell a house. So, you know, just stand in front of people and making sure that people know and remember what you do. Because, you know, sometimes that happens, you know, somebody buys a house, like, oh, I forgot you were in real estate. So, really provide value to those people too. So, you know, like it's like sometimes I just call people, you know, give them a quick like CMA type of thing.
Right.
Let them know the equity they have in their house, and you know, sometimes that may not produce anything with them individually, but you know, it's like, oh, you know, my coworker wants to buy a house. So just working my sphere and contributing when coming from a place of contributionship.
Yeah.
Helping when I
Feel like
can.
almost like not just super transactional, that they know you're the real estate person for them, like throughout their life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's underrated of, you know, some people think you need 1,000 people in your database. I forget which trainer or teacher had said it, and they were KW. You could absolutely run a successful real estate business with 100 people in your database if you're constantly touching them and contacting them and providing them values. You don't need 1,000 people. You could have 100 that you're always staying in touch with. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Keisha, what about you? Most productive?
I like what Rondell said, coming from contribution. Join something outside of real estate, preferably if you can. Be a part of something. Be a part of, I don't know, kids PTA or some type of civic or organization. You know, if you're into places of worship, join something, be a part of something bigger than real estate, and your real estate career will take off.
I've had a lot of agents in the past say that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Join something, be a
Yeah.
part of something.
for sure.
Mhm.
What about it? Michaeline, what about you?
It's a great one. Besides that, I have found that, doing an equity analysis, going back to my, clients from 5 to 7 years ago, kind of ate.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's.
And, yeah, and I
Yeah,
do,
'cause-
I give them a call
Mhm.
and I tell them, I'm always hoping they don't answer, though, to be honest with you. But I do call and I'm like, listen, I got it ready. Give me a call back. If not, I'll call you later on today, or I'll call you tomorrow. Because we're gonna need to set up an appointment because I have so many. That, you know, I gotta talk to you. I got it ready and I think you're gonna be pretty darn happy. You might think about moving. And do I get them all? Don't. But at least they know this is where you're at.
Mhm.
This is how much equity you have, and when you want to spend it, make sure you call me. That's
Interesting.
simple.
Do
and it
you,
works.
do you present a CMA, like
I
a
do.
comparative market analysis from the MLS?
I do.
Yep.
It's so easy to
Mhm.
understand.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I could make it harder. I don't know. If it looks professional to me,
Oh, it is.
you know, and we email it out and I ask them to bring it up on their computer. Probably if I had Mindy teach me how to Zoom, it'd probably be something I could do, but I don't think I really need to do that. I've got them on the phone, and both husband and wife, I never talk to just one. I always make sure or whoever is the one who bought the house, I make sure I have both of them. And it's actually kind of fun, but obviously because I talk so much that I can't get a lot done in a day because and there's so many things I might need to know, like you had another baby, time to move. I don't keep up on all of that. They don't like pick up a phone and tell you. So you need the at-home office now. Maybe we need to talk. Look how much money you have. Let's do something. It's really kind of fun. I was glad someone shared that idea with me.
Yeah, for sure. What do you have a set kind of script at all, or how you ease the anxiety if someone says like, I really want to do that, but like, what if what if they're moving within Ohio, right? It's like not a ton of places available. Like, do you have kind of ease their worry a little bit, or do you have anything specific that you normally say, or?
For an equity analysis or for someone?
Yeah, like if someone's super interested, like, wow, like I do have 100K of equity, like I actually do want to downsize a little bit.
Mhm.
Well, where am I gonna move? You know?
And I tell them that's a very good question.
Yeah.
And I don't have a script.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I just go with it.
Yeah.
And you know what?
It always works out one way or the other.
It does.
It really does.
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot in the last couple of years, we've gotten that question, like, I want to move, but I don't have anywhere to go. And you get some who just like, I'm just not even going to entertain until I have somewhere to go. You can't give me a hard answer, I'm just going to stay put. But you have some who are really interested in moving, but are really fearful about where I'm going to go. Where am I going to go? So you just really have to speak with them and work out a plan and just give them all of the scenarios of what could happen.
Yeah.
Just tell them the truth of what could happen. And I tell them my truth, I've never left anyone homeless. Even if you got to stay in a hotel for a few days. I've never left anyone homeless.
Right.
It's gonna work out.
Really
And
good
it
line.
does.
I pull up I ask them, what the next house look for, or, looks like for you. And, just pull up the MLS and, hey, it's 15 houses on the market. It's exactly what you're looking for.
Right.
And, see what see if it's a fit for them and take it from there.
Yeah, I think you're right. And there are those, I think there is that slight opportunity where some of the houses that sit for maybe 20, 30, 40 days are opportunities with, we talked about creative financing and stuff earlier today, like, it doesn't always have to be a slam dunk, like, oh, that kitchen's exactly how I want it. Well, yeah, it's 30 other people think the same thing, but like, you can easily redo the kitchen here at this house, that's 50K less. I feel like and it will lead to my next question too about the kind of overall view of the market, like, there's still those kind of houses that we all as realtors kind of like let the clients kind of dictate that, like, no, I don't want to see that because it's not quite perfect, but it sure could be perfect with just a little bit of, could be like a renovation loan, it could be just simple, maybe getting it for 20K less than it's listed, because a lot of people nowadays are thinking there's no negotiating room because everything's selling so fast.
Yeah, right.
There might be when it's been sitting for 30, 40 days,
Yeah, absolutely.
So that kind of leads into the next question, which is, what is the overall view of the current market inventory? I guess how Michael said, like, overall, I don't think it's a secret, right? There's been, like, in a decade, the last decade, there was less new homes built. That's not a secret, we know that.
Right.
We also know that, like, that 30 to 35-year-old range is like now where first-time home buyers are starting up. So it's like this perfect storm of like the lowest ever decade of homes being built, and now like a little bit older crowd is buying their first-time homes. So it's like, so we kind of know there's that. The overall view is we don't think the low inventory is going anywhere in 2022 for sure. But like, I guess maybe for overall view of the market and the industry itself is, is our agents, or is there still going to be a need for agents, or are things turning straight technology or straight Zillow, like just punch a button and everything gets done for you, like, or is there, are realtors being pushed out more and more, or is it, or is there still plenty of business for everyone?
I think it's like what happened in pretty much every industry. You're gonna just have to work harder to prove your value. It's, like technology ended a lot of companies, but it's still a select few from each of those industries that's still around, cabs, travel agents, those kind of things. So we got like a licensing implication that kind of helps us a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I think that, eventually, the Zillows of the world is gonna kind of figure things out and, come back a little stronger. So just really improve on our value prop and make sure that we know our market much better than what their data can tell them. And just be ready to defend, just defend your market pretty much. So
For sure. Keisha, what do you think?
What Rondell sees, I think it's pretty accurate, but Rondell, you remember what happened earlier this year with Zillow? What happened when did they pull out, or CJ might know, did they pull out of something? What happened with them?
Oh, yeah.
There was a big major shakeup where
Shakeup,
they're
right.
playing
they
in
lost
more.
they
Yeah.
lost a
They
ton.
lost, I just read recently.
Yeah.
I just saw how much they lost on it
Lost on it.
recently on their like quarterly reportings, and it was like
Yeah.
hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right, so I
There's
I don't
realize
think.
they
can't sell their houses
for what Right.
their
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're like, wait a minute.
So, I'm sure it's a bunch of technical things behind all of that, but it's a simple reference to that. For me, it just speaks to, you still need a body, you need a person. Yes, things can be automated. Yes, a lot of calculations can be done. You can do everything, a lot of things electronically, but relationships and feelings, you can't put that
No, it's
in
real.
a system. You need a person. So that's why I feel that in some way, sort of fashion, you're always gonna need somebody, a realtor, a good realtor, to be able to navigate this. It's a lot. I try to, when I'm working with my clients, to really imagine not ever having any knowledge of mortgages or the real estate industry. I don't know anything, and coming to meet a realtor for the first time, try to put myself in that position, that state of mind. And I don't know if I could imagine that, because they are completely vulnerable to you. You are the gatekeeper, and you can't automate that.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it.
Yeah, we take for granted like how we have we've shortened so many words. We're just like, oh, everyone knows what ROC is, or like everyone knows what, like everyone knows that inspection comes first and that this deal isn't, there's just so many continual kind of questions that pop up over time that you're like, wow, yeah, like I really do have to come into every kind of client situation thinking I have to lay it all
I
out
don't know. You are the expert.
Mhm.
for sure. Michaeline, what about you?
I think there's enough business for everybody.
Yeah.
I do. And.
Oh, gosh. Well, that was exciting.
I wake you up a little bit.
Right.
Wake up.
Balloons are popping.
I guess that was just a double check, right? That's enough business for everybody.
Wow.
Oh, amen.
You did it.
I think, you know what, once you're in the business long enough, if you're good at what you do, you get so many referrals.
Yeah.
That you don't have to worry about whether there's enough business or not. You just need to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And I feel I'm okay.
Yeah.
I think there's enough for everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that.
When you speak of like referrals and longevity, people they won't think to go, and when they go, find Zillow agents for you when someone asks,
Right.
the agent, no, Michaeline is an excellent agent, she sold my last house, got me
Right.
this house,
Thank you,
instead of
Keisha.
going there.
For me, it's when gets me up in the morning,
Yeah.
it's a lot of more agents now too. It is crazy.
It's kind of making us hone our skills like that much
Yeah.
faster because
Yeah, and like like you see it's like almost every week I hop on Facebook and somebody got their real estate license. So like it's more competition now. You got these big tech companies trying to play in the sandbox too. So like wake up every morning like, all right, these people got a lot more options now. So
right.
I need to make sure that I'm on top of my game. So yeah, it's exciting for me.
For sure. I think it's so interesting too, how the percentages still favor like quick response though too, it's like, I mean, if it's still 80%, 85% of the people that speak to, and of course, this is separate from like your sphere. But, like,
Right. The
literally,
first agent,
if you know, and it is true that like 80 to 85% of people work with the first person that they talk to,
Mhm.
it's like, until that hits like 40 or 50,
Yeah,
like, or,
right.
like really, it's just kind of being on top of it,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's anything that's about to change like in the next few years, but looking down the road, 22 years from now and like that type of outlook, I think is gonna look a lot
Yeah.
different than what it is now.
Yeah, I think Gary was ahead of the game with kind of Keller being.
I'm just saying, in 2 years, I'm not gonna be here. I have my own business, it's available. Yeah, you're right.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, Gary was definitely ahead of the game with like understanding this is like we're a tech company
Yeah.
that, it teaches people how to run successful businesses and, build wealth and all that, different streams of income, profit sharing, all that, so.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Oh yeah, this is a good question. Where does your database currently live? Where do you keep your contacts?
In my phone.
You have a CRM, customer relationship management system that you use, like Command, Boomtown, Excel.
No, I'm working on getting everything switched into Command, but like right now, it's still my phone.
Yep.
So, and that's a part of my like the issues that I'm having too. My organizations that I don't have a formal CRM to take care of, following up with clients and everything. And so
Part of the 22 goals.
oh yeah, it's like right up there with hire somebody.
Right.
Hire someone, have them do it.
Yeah.
Right, leverage that, yeah, for sure, that's huge.
Where do you, Keisha, where does your database live?
In Command, mostly, and then I have a backup because I don't trust anything.
There you go.
Just in case, backup, and it's just a really fancy Excel sheet that my husband made, just to keep up, just in case I never need to import something somewhere else.
Yeah.
So those two spots. But yes, mine was in my phone for many years. It just got into a formal setting in probably like 18, 19.
Yeah.
So I understand. I get it.
Mike Magno says they use Follow Up Boss CRM.
Follow Boss?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we used it for,
Long time.
Mhm.
That is
Yeah,
what I use now.
yeah, what do you use now?
Well, it's funny because I said to Mindy, what if they ask that question? What should I say? And she said, tell me. So Mindy said, make sure she does every, yeah, she keeps up my command.
Yeah.
But honestly, I love my Excel spreadsheets. Sometimes she makes them kind of little, and I have to like wear the silly pair of glasses to be able to read it. But I work off my spreadsheets. I can write anything on them. I write things down and I know, yes, I should have that open and type while they talk, but it's just not me. I love having everything in front of me, big sheets full of whatever I need. It's just how I operate better that way.
I saw Mike on mute for a second.
Yeah, Mike, did you want to talk about Follow Up Boss?
Yeah, I was gonna, we as a team really struggled with Command because the functionality for Command as a husband and wife team was really, really terrible. So we weren't using anything. It was really, really bad. So I stumbled across Follow Up Boss, and it's been very, very, very helpful. So it's not terribly expensive. So for those single agents out there who think they need to spend thousands of dollars on Boomtown or KV Core, they don't need to. I think it's like $69 a month per user for Follow Up Boss. So we use it for the 4 of us currently. Actually, yeah, 4 of us. So it's really, really helpful. So if anyone's looking into, doing a CRM and they don't like Command, it's a nice alternative. Obviously you can't run Facebook ads and stuff through it like you can through Command. But it's a great down and dirty database management software. So, and they've got a really cool app for Android and iOS too for your phones. So.
Right on, appreciate the insight.
Yep.
What questions do anyone on Zoom or here have for the panelists as well? The ones that we had written down, we went through, so just obviously, I'm sure there's something that's on someone's mind that we want to ask a question or gain some insights about.
So being a top producer, how would you tell other agents, or what would you tell other agents about what we call balance? So that work-life balance and how to achieve that and still be happy or maybe not.
I think it's something that you have to be extremely cognitive of, because when you're in business, and this is like really any type of business, like your family is making sacrifices along with you. So you have to be mindful of that, just like you time block for lead generation and, following up with people, you gotta set that time aside to spend your undivided time and attention, with your family, friends, and loved ones. Because, if you make however much money, but you end up losing everybody close to you, then it's really all for nothing. So, I would just say simply just be mindful of it.
I like what you said about time blocking. We all can do a little bit better with that, but time blocking. I just say no.
Yeah.
I can't commit to everything. Can't do it. So just say no, and can't say no to everything because you don't have no business. So you can't say no to every single thing, but I really try not to overcommit because I was definitely an overcommitter. I was at every event and doing everything in every class and every person. It just can't do it. Can't do it all. Make a list of what's really important. What are your highest priorities, and understanding your why, as Carl Williams says, like, why are you doing this? What is this for? What is the purpose? And that'll help you kind of organize things in the way they should be as far as your time and having balance in between.
Yeah.
Work-life balance and all of that.
It's hard.
It is hard.
It's very hard. Got a time block.
You have to set boundaries with your clients, otherwise they're gonna walk all over you. You know, for us, no matter what, 7 o'clock, my husband, my daughter and I sit down for dinner together. That is every night. And our clients know our phone goes into do not disturb.
Yeah, think about how adaptable we all technically really are, but then like we assume that our clients aren't, right? It's like, you can set those boundaries and they'll be like, okay.
Teach people how to treat you.
Yeah,
Teach them how
yeah.
to treat you. You know, they don't know, set your, like what you said, set your hours,
Yeah.
make sure that they're aware.
Set your hours, and another thing too, you said it's a big why, and also Keller's huge on time blocking, like family time first. Like if you go through any sort of high level KW stuff, like they will, like they'll say, put down your vacations and family stuff first, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of exactly what you all are saying, it's make that a priority because the company that you're with makes it a priority, or wants you to make it a priority. Yeah, it's good.
Also, any takeaways and stuff, I have one actually. One thing was just that everybody uses a different database and CRM that was up here pretty much, and everybody makes it work for themselves. So I think like that's the cool thing about this business is you really can run it how you want to. And another thing, I liked what you said, Michaeline, and it'll stick with me now, taking care of dilemmas before they become problems. Like that's a huge deal. I like that a lot.
And the longer you're in it, you just know, I better jump on this, because it's just.
It'll come back. It'll come.
It's gonna every time.
Never.
And when you block and you're not gonna want to do anything after 7, I'm here to tell you, you're gonna still be talking about that septic at 10:30. So you might as well just solve the problem before it happens. Because at that point, it is a dilemma. It's like, it's a dilemma, it's not a big deal. Until someone wants to, like last night, take the furnace. Now we got a problem. I'm sad as huge. But we got that straightened out today. We filed, so we're good to go. Furnace is still where it should be, and yeah. Curtain rods are gone, so
Karen,
So we're still in multiple offers right now. What's your secret? How are you winning the multiple offer situation for your buyers?
A lot of times I'm not. So two things. I guess I asked when we went, like, what put us over, so we know what to do right next time. Maybe, it's not going to be across the board with every situation, but we know what we're doing right. I try to be very, very, very professional and clear and make it easier for the listing agent. I've seen this become a trend now, the cover letters just being very straightforward with what we're presenting on the behalf of our client. And then 2, relationships. That's why I'm really big on networking and getting out and meeting agents, because you never know, you might run into them in a transaction and you want them to remember you. So forming new relationships and maintaining relationships, I think that really, to be honest with you, has helped us win, because a lot of agents know that we're about our business. We want to get the goal is to get the deal closed. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure that happens. So
for me, I honed in on it during the buyer consult. Like this is what's going on. You got to come with your hardest offer up front, and then also it's a challenge sometimes getting a buyer to buy into what you're saying too. But yeah, you have to go 20,000 over asking price. I don't want to. Well, you probably won't get the house. So it's like I've focused heavily on telling them about the market, explaining everything that's going on. present your best offer up front, and, you know, we take it from there. Most times, when they listen to me, we win. But it's when they, you know, I tell them, hey, we gotta be 20 over, and they say, oh, no, I wanna be 17, you know, and we end up having a little friction there, but and then from that aspect of it, being able to properly advise them, just, you have to know the market, you have to really understand what's going on, what other people are doing. Like Keisha said, like asking the listing agent, you know, like what was it about this offer that helped us to win? And, you know, even when you don't win, like, you know, like, hey, what happened? And that's it. And then also, like, also focusing on the terms of your offer too. So, you know, you can have 3 offers at the same price point, but, you know, what are the inspections looking like? And like, I hate advising clients not to get inspections, but, you know, sometimes, you know, that's what you're gonna be up against. So, you know, just working out the best terms for them.
It was fascinating. I had a deal last year with multiple offers. We were 20K over. Great house. So in the neighborhood, I knew really well. I knew it was a good buy. And we went to see, the second one on the market. I went to see it, put the offer in, and then just like, I didn't pester the agent. And you could tell after like 5 days, you could tell like they were freaking out because they're dealing with like a seller that, like, ultimately we won with 5K less than the next one. And the other agent totally said like, it's because you didn't bother me. Like you weren't constantly asking. So it's a lot of times it's like, it's so frantic out there sometimes, just being that calm presence could be the ticket. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. Any other ahas or insights? Questions?
Question. So I'm not even licensed yet. I'm getting ready to take my exam. So do you have any advice for new agents? I heard you guys are saying things are really changing in the last 2 years, and maybe you could elaborate a little bit on like what you're seeing. I mean, I've heard the market is really busy, but like, is it anything other than that I could be aware of?
I would say first focus on the test.
So something's happening. Okay.
That's
You'll get the education.
I'm just saying that just because, like, I don't know where you are, like, with, you know, like with your studies, but the market could be completely different, you know.
By the time I get my license.
But like what it is, it's just like an inventory shortage. So you just got more buyers than you have houses that's available right now. That's pretty much just driving everything.
Okay. So that's the big change that's happened over the last 2 years that you're really noticing, is that housing shortage is just really putting a lot of pressure on supply.
Yeah, at the core of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was more even 3 years ago, right? I mean, it was still like.
So it was still a great time for sellers, but it was a good time for buyers too. It was kind of like that balance.
Okay.
And then I think the pandemic a little bit, people wanted less people in their house, right? So there's already kind of like a less houses on the market. Then, as Michael mentioned, you know, new construction over the past decade was slower than in the 4 decades previous. And then with low interest rates, people are like refinancing and remodeling instead of selling.
Okay.
So there was like this huge, just these 3-4 factors that kind of just that did it. But it's not different than, I mean, CG got an industry when there was like the same thing but buyers, right? There was like there was like no
buyers
exactly.
There was like a ton of things for sale, but like no
same problem,
thing.
just opposite.
So you get in an industry and like CG got an industry a little over a decade ago that was like
on the market.
it was just the exact flip of what it is now. And like same thing, it's you, no matter when you get in, you just
Lead generation always wins.
yeah, lead generation always literally
Just.
yeah. You stay in touch with your people and quick responses. You know, talk to a lot of people.
Are you coming to our office?
Yes, I'm very excited. Everyone I've met so far has been really awesome. You guys are so helpful with everything.
You'll be fine here.
Yeah.
There's one thing you will never not love here. will learn everything, except, you know, once you get out there and you're showing your houses for the first time, you might be on your own, but you maybe shadowed someone else already. Reach out and ask realtors in this office to go with you, you know, can you go with them? You're gonna be just fine here.
Yeah.
You'll do great.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Don't be afraid to like ask for help.
Right,
'cause, like,
always
we-
ask.
Like, everybody is really excited to be able to help and, you know, contribute in any way that we can. So you'll be fine.
And everyone here was new at some point, everybody.
Mm,
Sure.
Everybody, so.
Mhm. We don't party as much now. Like we used to, but that's coming back.
Maybe soon, once
Right,
everything.
Right, that's coming back. That's for sure.
And then Keisha, can I ask you a question? You mentioned social media, you had to kind of outsource for that because it got to be too much for you. Do you know, like, or can I ask which platforms you're on and which one has been better for you? If any of them?
So, Facebook, of course, has been the highest, but,
Okay.
believe it or not, people sleep on this one, it was LinkedIn.
They sleep on it so much.
They sleep on LinkedIn,
They sleep
like,
on it so
LinkedIn. Look, it's boring to me too. But I get people, and you know, a lot of times you get a lot of folks just trying to sell things to get in, you know, send you messages, but I have forgotten, I had like 6 clients this last year just from LinkedIn.
Mm.
Just
Or-
from LinkedIn.
organic
Clients are
reach,
finding
yeah.
you on
Mhm,
LinkedIn.
mhm.
Okay, wow. I would have never thought.
Yeah, me
Thank
neither,
you
it's
for
boring,
sharing
but.
Word.
I'm tired of it, like, happy anniversary. But you do it. But Keisha also shares on Facebook an inspirational message all the time.
Yeah,
You do.
that's so cool.
And it makes me want to be holy when I'm done. But she always shares, you know, something, and it makes you, okay, now I'm a realtor, and I'm in her office, I want to read it. So can you imagine what that does to not just clients, but people that don't know her?
Right.
You know, I mean, I
Real
think.
positive influence.
Absolutely. I think that's, and I tell them, Minnie, get on that inspirational. I'm teasing. She's very, very good at Facebook, very good.
Awesome. Well, then I might be asking for help soon. Thank
No
you so
problem.
much.
You're welcome.
Facebook's the way to go.
Mhm. Now I'm gonna have to try to get my son to teach me how to get my video up on TikTok.
Ooh.
I've said that's my goal to try. I have not, after this piece straightforward, I have not posted a video on TikTok myself. I follow people and I look at all y'all videos on TikTok, but I haven't done it, so I am. That's my goal.
Let's do a makeup tutorial. You wanna?
Yes,
You
let's do that.
should do that.
And if Facebook is your primary source of business, then make sure you also use Reels, because Reels is owned by Facebook. And so you'll get more generation
Oh, yeah.
and you'll be better in their
Like
numbers, their
Yeah,
top
yeah,
numbers
yeah,
for being
their
able to
algorithm,
see
yeah.
their
Mhm.
algorithms.
Yeah, I always find myself looking at the reels more often than I do
Yes.
TikTok, so for sure, that's good.
Yeah, I think I noticed that trend when I saw like all my nephews, like.
Yeah.
they all-
Right, I do it too.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
they have like 3,000 people on, it. So it's like all stories and reels.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, see, you got the inside source in the house. so.
Right. So, thank you for that tip. See, she's already taking the road on.
And your office is right across.
Right.
Sometimes you're gonna want to shut that door. I'm a little loud. When I see Gira shut the door, I'm like,
I'm sorry, girl.
out again.
No.
She's like, no, you're fine, Michaelie. Boom. I know.
No. I do have a question though. A lot of my friends rent. Not a lot of them have like a home for their own. What's your like best argument for like the younger generations who do want to rent over owning a home? Because we've heard arguments before, but yeah. But what's your biggest takeaway to tell them to convert them to like a buyer?
So like, think about it like this, you gotta pay a housing expense one way or another,
Mhm.
whether you own or rent. You know, let's say if it's, I don't know, $1,000. So that $1,000 is either gonna go to building like your equity, your wealth, or your landlord's. You know, the choice is yours.
Mhm.
So
That's
it's,
good.
it's, you know, and like, especially we're in a market here where it actually makes financial sense to own. Like, it's cheaper to own than it is to rent.
Mm.
So you can save money and build equity for yourself, or you can spend more money and build equity for your landlord or management company or whoever owns the place that you're living in.
Hmm.
So that's what I, you know, but for the most part, like people, you know, it's something that people have to like want to do themselves. So, you know, I've had that argument, like even before I got my license, you know.
Yeah. Mhm.
But you know, you plant the seed there, and you know, when the time comes for them to be ready, you'll be the person that they come to.
Mm.
But like trying to convince somebody who wants to rent to buy, it's probably not gonna happen.
What was that? I think I saw a meme, I don't know, it was on Facebook or another platform that, talking about interest rates, and the current interest rate is what, 3 and 4%, but the interest rate on renting is 100%.
Mhm.
I know, it's so true.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's really.
So I have, because I have property, investment property. I have a tenant who I've been trying to convince for the last 9 years to either buy this house or another house. And she doesn't, she won't, she just wants to rent. She won't move. She, you know, the last house before she came to mine, she stayed there for 20 years. So some people, their mindset is just, I don't want the responsibility. No, you know, you just won't get everybody.
Mm.
But I like, going back to that meme I just mentioned, I like that. And I think I'm going to use that one, like you're paying 100% interest to someone else.
I think the thing is that it's just about to be more of that, like, people are getting away from like the American dream of buying and getting a good job of buying a house and stuff. Like, people just want to rent, you know, want the responsibility. So that's why I said the investor market is really going to heat up over, you know, over the next 10 years and beyond.
Because people do like low maintenance and they don't want no responsibility, some people.
Yeah.
And they believe renting can give them that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand that, but it's hard for some individuals to think long-term, but you're paying 100% interest long-term to someone else, you never have anything to show for it.
Mhm.
You know, that's gotta set in at some point.
Yeah, sometimes when you talk about like big lump sums instead of the monthly, I'll say too, like if someone asks me that as well, then I'll just go back to when I rented, from like 2009 to 2012, it's like three years. I think like, once I added it up in my head, I'm like, where did $50,000 go to? You know what I mean? And then at the end of it, I still have to find a new place.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like,
You know what I think, I think that a lot of people are afraid and to get pre-approved.
Mm.
I just think that they
Yes,
really
they
don't
are.
know where they're at.
there's so many people that don't know where they're at.
And so if I don't say to them, let's just get pre-approved, maybe they have something they don't want me to know. Maybe
Mhm.
they don't make a lot of money. Maybe all they can afford is a rental. So I am going to say, let's just get pre-approved. And I have had people that I have been very successful. Look, maybe they only got in a house for 120,000, but it's their house. You know, there is no 100% interest. That's their home. And then I say to them, in 5 years, I'll call you, we'll get you out of here. And not because it was a bad house, because maybe it was only 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. So now those are the people that I'm calling. But sometimes I think they're scared and they don't want to be disappointed that maybe a lender's going to say to them, now let's work a little bit on your credit. And I say to them, well, we'll be disappointed together then.
Right.
And we're going to work it through, because I'm going to be sad that you're not going to be my client. But I'm going to wait for you.
Yeah.
Let's see what we have to do. And I keep in touch with them.
Think about you're the hero too. It's like, first of all, that's fantastic advice. If someone's interested in purchasing, like the lenders first, like before you do,
Yes.
like,
Always.
so
Always.
like having that convo with someone, you're the hero for suggesting that. Second of all, if there is an issue, the lending professional is telling them that, not you.
And they're helping them.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
helping them figure out, what do you need to do? I just had this happen in 6 months, 8 months to a year. I certainly don't know. I'm too busy trying to have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to do the lender job. I don't want to do any of the vendor stuff. I just want to get those people in and put them in a house that's gonna make them happy.
Yeah.
Will I get them 5 acres? Maybe not so much. Maybe next time.
Mhm.
And they're happy.
Yeah. I think like one of the things that I think of is like, for me, I like things to like be breaking down for me. So like you were talking about, like, if I don't know, then like, or if I'm scared because I don't know,
Right.
like what it takes to be pre-approved,
I'll just
Then
I'll
I
stay another year.
right, then I won't take that step.
Right.
And so that's why I think like, I think of first time homebuyer seminars, like what Janice does, super important. Cause like
Yeah.
I don't know anything. And I think like you guys just like sharing is really helpful to know like where to go and what to do.
Well, you know, I never realized until the last 3 years, Keisha, I don't know if you found this or Rondell. Like, I can't believe how many old people are first-time homebuyers.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm amazed at that. Like, right now, I just met somebody yesterday and she's not my buyer. But she's a first-time home buyer and she's so excited about getting in this home. And my seller is on the same page with her. How awesome is that? She's like 62 and her husband just died. That was probably, I didn't. It was supposed to be shot a little softer. I just have to tell you the story.
So happy.
She's so cute, and here she's rented all her life,
Yeah.
and now, look at her, she's gonna buy a house, she's a first time home buyer, and she's in her 60s. I just think it's the best story.
What was her reason for renting for so long?
Well, she's not my buyer, I would have got that out of her though, but she doesn't belong to me, she belongs
I
to.
just had a buyer, he's 70. No, he's 70. He's over 70 years old. He's in his 70s.
My oldest buyer was 94 years old. I'll never forget her, Vashti Ware. She is no longer with us. However,
Didn't it make you
94.
feel like
It
$1
did.
million?
It was like, you
Oh,
want
I
to
love
what?
it.
Bought a brand new house.
Mhm.
And
That's awesome.
her daughter moved in with her. So, yeah, 94.
A couple of years ago, and I'll just tell this one little story because it was so cute. You know, back down in Sagamore Hills, well, I don't know if it's down or up, I don't know where it's at, east, west, I'm not sure. And there are these huge power lines in the back of the farm. And I had these two 80-year-old sisters who had never bought a home. And they came to me and they were like, we just had a little condo. I'm like, we don't need anything big. You know, at least as long as we can have our own bathrooms, you know how kids when you get older, whatever that meant. And so we find this cute little condo and there's all these power lines. And I'm like, you can't sign this. And they're like, why not? Like, look at all these power lines. This isn't safe for you. The sister looks at me and she says, hey, I gotta dive in some. She said, I'm 82 years old. We have never owned a home. So what's electrical surges, Michael? I'm not worried about it. And it was summer and I'm like, did you see it? Look at those flowers. There's some electrical surges going on here somewhere. And they're like, we don't care. We're just so happy to be 80-some years old and we're sisters. And this is gonna be the first time home buyer. So I thought it was cute.
That's so adorable.
It is, it really was adorable. And they're still alive.
Never too late.
No, never too late. I just talked to them about 3 or 4 months ago. They're just going. So I don't know. So, Gary, that was a great question.
Thank you.
So do you want to get pre-approved?
No.
Everybody's like,